Do you remember Team Fortress 2? With 16 years of being out in 18 different game modes, plus the seasonal ones like Zombie Infection, some of them tend to slip through the cracks. The one that doesn't get talked about enough is Pastime. Pastime is one of those forgotten game modes, buried at the bottom of the game mode list, usually with the least number of players, but honestly, it's such an intriguing concept. It's a unique spin on classic TF2 mechanics, and I think it deserves more love. It was introduced during the Meet Your Match update in 2015, when some other maps were added, like Swiftwater, bringing a new era of snipers to camp. The game mechanics are actually really easy to understand. You got a ball that looks like a bomb, and your job is to pass it around and try and score points by getting it into the opposing team's goal. Kind of like a mix of soccer and capture the flag, but with the added twist of the ball homing in on targets. And speaking of the ball, let's talk about its design. The gray spikes accented with the yellow at the base, the enticing red button that practically begs to be pressed, and the exposed wires reminiscent of a bomb or Demoman's sticky launcher. It is such a nice piece of detail. The ball's design perfectly aligns with either a new secondary for Soldier, or a new sticky bomb type for Demoman. And it feels like it could explode at any moment, adding a little more anticipation to the game. But sadly, it only explodes if hit by explosives. Now, the goal mechanics are pretty straightforward. You have 2 ways to score, or 3 in some maps. One larger, easier goal, and one smaller, more rewarding one. It's simple, but it leads to some interesting strategies. You could just throw the ball into the big goal for a safe, easy point, or you could risk the smaller, more difficult goal for more points. I mean, who doesn't like more points in a game about winning points? The maps in Pastime were another highlight. They were designed with a lot of cool little details, like jump pads, speed buffs, and even a water tower as one of the goals. The layout was great too, with plenty of flanking routes that made it easy to catch the enemy off guard. You had a lot of freedom to approach the game from different angles, which kept things fresh and fun. The power-ups in Pastime were nuts. Flying over the map with those speed jump pads felt amazing, like you were about to make the dunk of your life. Had that epic feeling that made every moment feel like it mattered. But of course, Pastime isn't perfect. One of the most annoying things was that you couldn't shoot while holding the ball, and that was a bit frustrating. It was also a necessary mechanic though. Imagine you're a scout, just trying to have fun on Phoenix, and suddenly, a heavy walks in with a pocket medic, holding the entire payload, and pulls out Natasha. You'd be dead before you could even walk 20 feet, right? So as annoying as it was not being able to shoot while holding the ball, I think it was definitely for balance. You wouldn't want the game just to turn into a heavy-on-heavy deathmatch with the ball as an afterthought. Also, let's not forget the ball gave you a little penalty. An extra 35% damage taken due to the mini-crit mechanic. The game made sure you were not overpowered when you were holding the ball. If you could have Uber while holding it, that would be horrendous. If neither of these debuffs were added, you could have a medic combo Uber chaining for the entire match, stalling the game for like 20 minutes. I'm looking at you, Dust Bowl. You're a disappointment. Please. Too many stickies. Remove game. Ultimately though, even though Pastime was forgotten by a lot of players, I think it's a really good mode. It was different, had its own unique feel, and everything about it just worked together so smoothly. The combination of easy-to-understand mechanics, unique scoring, and fun map design made it something truly special to me, and I think it deserves love. In the end, it's a shame it didn't catch on with more players, because it really had a lot of potential, but maybe that's just the beauty of TF2. Even in forgotten modes, it still has a place in our memory. Pastime definitely deserves its moment in the spotlight.